Hello and welcome back to BeccyKnits. I am Becky and I'm coming to you from Norfolk in England. And you can find me on Instagram as @BeccyKnits or on Ravelry as Becky Monday. I will leave those links along with any other links to anything I mention down below. Hello and welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and hello, welcome if you are joining me for the first time. I meant to do a video last week before the 1st of September so that I could talk about my knit along or my make along that I'm running, and I just couldn't do that because we weren't well. So there's going to be a little bit of information at the end of this episode for 6 September. So if you are interested in particularly finding out about giveaway prizes, then stick around for that. But first of all, I don't think I have done an episode since summer sock camp finished, so I can show you my finished objects which were finished in time for summer sock camp. I've got my summer sock camp socks finished. I'd had plans to do many more socks than this, but in the end I just got the one pair finished, and that's fine. I'm really pleased with them. I have worn them once and they are very comfortable. Really happy with how the colours turned out. This is my hand-dyed yarn. I dyed it, it's like a one-off, dyed it for myself to knit for summer sock camp, and there we are. And it kind of matches what I'm wearing today. So yeah, really happy with those. These were knit on a US 1 2.25mm needle and 64 stitches. It's just whatever sock pattern is in my head. I don't use a pattern for plain socks anymore. So there we have it. Very pleased, very happy to have those in my my sock stash, which is growing slowly and getting more colourful. It used to be full of very dark coloured socks. So my aim this year, I guess, or just going forward, is to try and brighten up my sock drawer a little bit, and they have definitely helped with that. Also finished before the end of sock camp, although technically it doesn't count for sock camp, I've got a toddler off nursery today because he's not very well, and so the room is just full of train track, and it's making it a bit difficult for me to get at everything. So there we go. So yeah, these were finished. This was finished in time for the end of summer sock camp. I didn't get the second one finished. I think if we hadn't been ill, I might actually have squeezed it in, but yeah. There were a couple of days where there was just no knitting happening at all. So these are a DK weight sock. These are the first DK socks I have made, and I really love it. This isn't sock yarn, so there's no nylon in it or anything like that, so they're just going to be house socks. I did do a reinforced heel, so hopefully they will last okay, but yeah, there's no nylon in them, so they're not going to be like indestructible. The yarn is from Skein and the Stitch, and I will explain the yarn when I talk about my like acquisitions, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how they turned out. I love the colour so much, and I have cast on the second sock as one of my socks for 6 September. This was the first sock that I have knit magic loop, and I honestly don't know why I've never done it before, because I really love it as a method of knitting socks. It's my new favourite way to knit socks. I just find that it feels less clumsy in my hand. There's like, I feel like there's less chance that the needles are going to fall out, things like that. It's a bit safer with having little ones around. who like to reach into my knitting basket. So despite the fact that it is tucked behind the sofa, they can still get in there. So yeah, I often find a knitting needle has been pulled out of socks, but this is, you know, if they pull a needle, then it's just going to pull it through and I can just rearrange the stitches. So I really like this method. This cable is a bit short, but it's working fine. I'm really, really enjoying it. So yeah, so given that we're on, what is it, the third, this is the progress I've made on this one so far, and it is not the only sock I have cast on for 6 Sock September. But yeah, this is perfect for knitting in a car, particularly. Yeah, it's just a plain sock. I think I cast on 52 stitches, and that's a really comfortable fit for me. And I am a medium, so I usually cast on 64 for a regular sock, and I am using size 3mm needles. So yeah, really pleased with how the tension's turning out. It's just perfect. I said it is perfect. And then my stitch marker, you're probably not going to be able to see it. I don't know if it works on my phone, so whoop. Oh well, it's like a little hot chocolate with marshmallows on top. I think this is a Simply Serving stitch marker, which I got from a homespun house. I don't know if she still stocks Simply Serving, but yeah, there we go. It's cute. And then this one was from my Christmas in July or Advent in July calendar from Alone the Knitter, Bumbling Yarns. So there we are, and that's living in this little kind of tote thing, which is great. I just got this at a fair recently. We went and someone was selling them, and I just really liked it. It sits really nicely. Ooh. Yeah, it's just really handy. So that's all my sort of finished items, and then my first cast on for 6 Sock September. But as I said, I have cast on pretty much everything that I plan on knitting for 6 Sock September, so that I can just work on them whenever I feel like it. So the other pair that I'm working on at the moment is actually a test knit. So here they are. This is the Warm Milk sock. I'm knitting the toddler size, which is why it's so dinky. And yeah, I think it's going to be a great fit for Aiden, which is fantastic. I love it when I can make something for Aiden, because it means then Rory's going to get to wear it as well. So that's great. I'm on the heel flap, so that's great. I'm like already nearly halfway through a sock, and it's only the third. So yeah, it's a really lovely pattern. It's working up really quickly. I mean, obviously quickly because it's a toddler size, but for some reason I always find that toddler socks just take forever, because I don't know why I'm like so demotivated to knit toddler socks, but I always find that they drag. But this is knitting up quickly, I think, because it's not just a plain sock. There is a bit of like texture that makes it a bit more interesting. And I am using West Yorkshire Spinners Wood Pigeon, so it's a little bit that's left over from my Parma Violet socks. I've got well, I say a little bit, I've got loads of leftover. So I'll probably end up doing a second pair of these socks so that Rory can wear a pair as well. Stitch marker on that was from Hannah May's Crochet. I bought a stitch marker from her, which I'll show you in acquisitions, and then this just came attached to the card, and I thought that the colours matched so nicely that I would put it on here. So that is well, I suppose that's full pair number 1, and then we've got half of a pair. The other half of a pair is going to be this sock. So this is obviously a completed sock, which I finished probably in June, and so I'm going to knit its mate as my like 4th 6 Sock September sock, I suppose. in theory they shouldn't take me very long. We'll see. And then my final pair for 6 Socks September are... I feel like I'm doing pretty well so far on my 6 Socks September progress. Yeah, I'm really happy. I feel like having all of the socks cast on is a big thing, because then I've not got that sort of gotta cast it on mentality. So here we are again on my new favourite magic loop. I will talk about the needles in acquisitions later, but here we are. This is the String of Lights pattern by Sock Witchery in, I can't remember the name of the colourway and I can't find the ball band, but it is a Norah George yarn. So there we are, it's so beautiful. It was one of her Harry Potter colourways, and Mrs. Weasley is in my head, something to do with Mrs. Weasley, but I can't remember exactly what it was. And so I've done, I feel like the contrasting ball that you get feels quite small. It's not. I think it's 20 grams, so it should have been. It should be enough to do the cuff, the heel flap, and the toe of both socks, I think. But I decided just to go for the little top, just three rounds on that colour, just to top it off, and then I will do the heel flap and the toe in this. Although I am also thinking that I might do a different heel. There is another knit along happening on Instagram called I'll put the name of it here, I can't remember. It's like heels, sock heels KAL or something like that, and heels is spelled H-E-A-L. So I don't know, I'll put the name of the KAL down here, but basically the idea is to push yourself out of your comfort zone and knit a different heel. I always do heel flap and gusset. I think I have got one pair of socks that has got an afterthought heel and I don't like how it fits. So much so that I had another pair of socks that were waiting for an afterthought heel, and I thought, I think I'm probably going to wear them more if I just don't put a heel in and just have them be like house socks, tube socks. So so I don't know. I'm thinking I would like to try a fish lips kiss heel, but I feel like it could potentially have the same problem that the afterthought heel has, where it just doesn't fit. I just like how the heel flap and gusset fits, but I do also like trying new things. So we'll see if I can convince myself to do a different heel on this one. We'll see. But yeah, really pleased. This was yesterday's progress, mostly after the kids have gone to bed, but yeah, I find that the magic loop method is so much quicker for me than DPNs, and I'm just sort of amazed that I've never used magic loop before. I'm a total magic loop convert, and I just now need to just replace all of my needles with circular needles so that I can just knit all of my socks magic loop forever and ever and ever. So yeah, and then the stitch marker on here is a little pumpkin from May Crochet, and I'm now debating whether or not I want to cast on the second sock straight away, because in theory I should only be knitting socks that will count for 6 Socks September, but part of me gets a bit nervous at the idea of not being able to cast on another pair of socks. So but maybe it would be good for my progress in the knit along to not have that option. So very tempted. I might get this to the heel flap and then cast on the second sock, and then I have got a bit more time to decide what I want to do about the heel. That feels like a good idea, but also feels like a terrible idea because I'll be stopping at my least favourite part of the sock, so we'll see. But yeah, I just am in love with these, so in love with these, and I love how like simple the pattern is. It just looks so pretty, and it's just a bit more interesting than knitting a plain sock. So yeah, recent purchases. I got the stitch marker, my little pumpkin, which I love. And then what else did I buy? I bought myself 2 Chow Goo circular needles. I've never known what the fuss was about with magic loop. Then I made my DK weight socks on magic loop and really loved it. And I knew that I didn't have any circular needles that were appropriate, so I thought, well, as I am buying needles, I might as well buy the ones that everybody seems to be raving about. And part of me was thinking, how can a needle make, how can it be such a big difference? But it is. It so is, and I've been talking to my husband about this and he's just been like completely glazed over, no idea. So yeah, I just really like them, and it just feels really nice in my hands, and they're sharp, but they're not so sharp that they're going to like stab through your yarn too much. They're just really, really nice. So it was totally worth the, I think it was maybe like £1 more expensive to get these ones than it was to get any others, and I'm so glad I spent the extra £1. Yeah, they've got, one of the needles has got the size lasered in, so the size is lasered in, so I can always see what size it is, because some of them the sizes rub off, or some of them, like this one, doesn't have the size on it at all, so I have no idea what it is, and I can never find my needle gauge. So I got mine from Tribe. I just ordered them online, so I got them from like a UK stockist, so it didn't take long for them to get to me, and I didn't have to pay any extra for shipping or customs or anything like that. And the other thing that I got since last time we spoke was 2 skeins from Skein and the Stitch. Jess was doing a birthday offer where when you placed an order before a certain date, she would add an extra something to your parcel, and you didn't know what it was going to be, and it was anything from like sort of stitch markers to, if you were like really lucky, then you would get 3 skeins. So I got, this was the colourway that I ordered. It's called Alexandrite. This is from her Birthstone collection, and it is the June Birthstone colourway. I bought this to make socks for my 2 boys because they are both June babies and I want to make them some welly socks, and I thought that this would be perfect. It's a like beautiful greens, blues, purples. It's so pretty. It's another DK weight. I thought it'd be good. I'm basically just going to knit 4 ribbed tubes so that they just fit for a long time. Although I am very tempted to just make myself another pair of DK socks. This one as well. This was a one of a kind colourway, so it doesn't have a name. It's just one of a kind, and this one. So I was very happy, and I think this this yarn might win the prize for yarn that spent the least amount of time in my stash before it became something. So I've had a lot of talk about 6 Sock September. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about 6 Sock September, do head over to my video, which I will link somewhere along here, which explains what 6 Sock September is, basically, in a nutshell. It's a month-long knit-along. The aim is to knit 6 socks, so that's 6 socks total, not 6 pairs. And you can knit any size of sock, in any weight yarn, as long as it's got a heel and a toe, it's a sock. There are going to be some prizes, and I have been sort of giving myself a little bit of time to think about how it's going to work. I've got an idea now of how many people are taking part. So we're going to be doing 2 prizes. So a prize for 1 person who takes part. So if you are taking part over on Instagram, use the hashtag the number 6 SS21, and posting pictures, posting in your stories. Use the hashtag, and at the end of the month, beginning of next month, I will draw a random name with a random number generator, and they will win a prize. And then there will also be a prize for one person who completes the challenge. So if you knit 6 socks during September, then you will be entered in to win. And in order to enter into that, you need to use the hashtag 6SS21FO, and there will be a skein of yarn and a pattern. The pattern has very kindly been donated by Sock Witchery. So Lindsay is going to allow you to pick one of her patterns for free, and there are some great ones, including the String of Lights pattern that I am knitting, and if you were here a few weeks ago, I knit the second breakfast socks, which are also fantastic. But she's got lots of patterns that you can choose from, and yeah, you'll be able to pick one. So there'll be that, and then there'll be a skein of yarn, and that skein of yarn will be hand dyed by myself, and there'll be a choice. At the moment I have these available, but I am going to dye up some more of my Fruit Loops and maybe just do another random one, and you can pick which one you would like. So there we have it. That's the 2 prize packages for so far, and we'll just see how things go for the rest of the knit along. I'm already excited watching everybody's stories and seeing everybody's posts, and yeah, I'm hoping that as the month goes on, more and more people are gonna post. So yeah, that is it for knitting content. So if you're not interested in hearing how my week has been, then that's fine. Thank you very much for watching, and I will hopefully see you next week. And if you would like to hear about my week, then, you know, grab a cup of tea or something like that, and let's talk. We had a fairly rough weekend last weekend. Rory's had a cold, he's my youngest, and that's one of those like up all night kind of things where he's sort of waking himself up coughing and things like that. We had COVID tests, not COVID, yeah, waking himself up coughing and things like that, and we decided that he was going to move bedrooms because he was in with us, but we were ready for him to move out. We decided he was going to move out on Friday, and Andrew had the day off, and he and Aidan were both supposed to be at nursery, so we thought it'd be a perfect day. We can do all of the, like, you know, clean the room and move everything in and out, because the room that he's in was Andrew's office, but now Andrew works in our bedroom and the cot is in the office. But Rory didn't go to nursery, but we thought we just need to do it because Andrew doesn't get days off during the week very often. We don't want to be doing it on a Saturday or a Sunday when we've got both children running around. So I was like, let's just do it. Rory can just have a cuddle with one of us and the other one can do a bit of cleaning, and then we can swap. So we got everything moved. But yeah, it was probably not a great idea because he was poorly, so he was up a lot. So there was like no benefit to him being in his own room because he spent most of the night cuddling us in our bed anyway. So yeah, but he seemed a little bit better Saturday, still not quite right, but a little bit better. Sunday, we were all okay in the morning, and then as the day went on, I started to feel really peaky, and then we were sat on the sofa, and while tea was being cooked, me and Aidan sat on the sofa, and Aidan said, I don't feel very well, and then he was sick everywhere. It's like, wow, this child, you don't eat very much, but an awful lot came out of you. So that was great, particularly because I was feeling sick. I was like, oh god, is this my future? So yeah, I had to, unfortunately for Andrew, I couldn't stomach cleaning it all up, so I had to leave him to clean it all up while I went and stood in the kitchen. So, and then yeah, basically dragged my way through bedtime and then took myself off to bed, and I was ill all night. And then in the middle of the night there came the point where I just started to feel better enough, and Andrew had just started to feel dreadful enough that we had to sort of swap our duties, because Andrew was basically holding Rory all night because he was still feeling a bit rotten. And I think he must have had whatever tummy bug we had. So Andrew basically spent the first part of the night holding Rory, and then then he got to the point where he was like, I can't hold him anymore, I'm like gonna pass out. So I had to take him and just had to bring him downstairs, because by that point he was awake. So it's like 4 in the morning, I came downstairs. I did start watching a new programme on Netflix. I watched the first couple of episodes of The Queen's Gambit, which is about chess. Not something that I'm particularly interested in at all, but the programme is excellent, so I look forward to getting some time to watch a bit more of that. So yeah, really enjoying that. And then we've basically just had a week where we've all been not feeling quite right, and we've just been dragging ourselves through to today, where like 75% of us are feeling better. Aidan is still just getting over the cold that Rory had. Yesterday he spent a couple of days, like half the day he'll just be in bed watching a film, which he has absolutely loved. It's like he's just old enough now that we can leave him with the iPad, put a film on. He likes Studio Ghibli films. And so he's just been watching Ponyo and Totoro on repeat for the past couple of days, which has been quite nice actually. So he's upstairs now watching something on the iPad, having a bit of a chill out in bed. It's been really good for him, I think, to just rest. So, and hopefully tomorrow will be all better, because I need to go to the yarn shop and pick up a yarn order, which I'm not going to be able to knit until the end of the month, but I'm excited. What else have we done? We've started watching the Lord of the Rings extended editions. We bought those, I think it was Monday we bought those, and we're still not finished. We're halfway through Return of the King, and it's so good. I'm so loving the extended editions. We're gonna have to buy the like theatrical version. We do have them, we have them on DVD, but we're kind of going through the process of clearing out DVDs to make space and buying them digitally. So we need to buy the theatrical versions, because yeah, we're not going to be able to watch the extended editions every time. We want to watch Lord of the Rings, but they are so good. It's like, there's so much extra stuff. I think it's like 45 minutes of extra content, and it's like watching a new film. You're kind of excited, waiting for like, oh, what's the next scene going to be? At least I am. I don't know about you. But yeah. So yeah, and then what else? I think that's about it really. I've started rereading A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've been in a massive reading rut. I have not read anything for almost 2 years, basically. You know, I'll start reading something and then I just give up on it, because I just can't give it my brain. And yeah, but now during Rory's nap time, I'm just starting, because I'm cuddling him during nap time at the moment, which I'm kind of torn as to whether or not I want that to continue or not. On the one hand, I'm enjoying my reading time. On the other hand, I would like to be able to put a load of laundry on or something. But yeah, so I started rereading Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, and that's one of my favourite series, and I am really enjoying it. I'm trying to perfect knitting and reading. I've seen Lindsay Sock Witchery and Natalie, who's Nitty Natty, yeah. They're doing their like reading and knitting, and they post in their Instagram stories, and I'm like, yeah, that looks really good. That looks like an excellent use of my time. So I'm gonna try that. Yeah, that is it. I'm gonna go, because I have definitely talked for way longer than I thought. I feel like this always happens. I'm like, oh, I get all of the like works in progress and everything out of the way in like 20 minutes. This will be a nice short episode, and then I get into all of the other stuff at the end of the episode, and I'm like, oh, it's now an hour. So let's wrap it up, shall we? Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I can be back next Friday and record another episode, and hopefully I'll have more sock progress to show you. Please, please, please show me your sock progress on Instagram. I would love to see it. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.